Welcome to The Love Affair, a relationship podcast. Listen in as we discuss all things love and relationships starting now. Back to...
Go on. Where are... I'm seriously, I don't know where we are.
We were talking about Creed 3.
I know Creed, but like...
Yes, we were talking about Dame's perspective on how the friendship broke down and changed from his vantage point. But yeah, I will say this about the movie. One of the things that you and I disagreed on was how the movie ended.
Yeah.
I felt like there should have been a lot more conversation between him and Dame in the locker room. But I guess men will be men. At
least this man will. I think me especially. I think a lot of other men. I'm not going to say it's all men, but the way that they reconciled was basically Creed just sat beside him and in a nutshell was saying, bro, I should have been there for you. I shouldn't have left you hanging, you know what I mean, all those years. And I'm sorry or I apologize. And Dane was basically like, yeah, I hear you. You were a kid or this is not on you or something like that. And that was it. Basically, that was it. That was it. I think they shook hands or dapped up after that, and that was it. And I'm telling you, for this dude, Jimmy K, that's all I need when it's a conflict, when it's some kind of I'll say this, for most of the time, that's all I need.
Okay.
It's just an acknowledgement, and me to acknowledge your acknowledgement, and we move on from there.
Okay.
There's no need to go back and rehash and be like, well, what were you thinking when you did this? And give me some assurances that it won't happen again.
I feel attacked.
Do you feel attacked?
No, I don't.
This is just me.
I feel seen.
So that's enough. I think that is. I really believe that is true for most men, but it's definitely true for me. Like, give me if something happened, give me your apology. You can give me a reason why. And I can acknowledge it, and we can have a little conversation, and then like, all right, bro, we bros again.
Okay.
And that's it.
You don't like a whole lot of ceremony about anything, really, but especially when it comes down to that, you're like, okay, I see you, you see me, we good. One of
the reasons why I feel that way is because it's already humbling enough for somebody to come to, like, if I had to come to you and say, I jacked up, I messed up, I apologize. You know what I mean? That's, to make that step is already humbled enough. So I think I'm making a different point now. I wouldn't want like the other party to maybe ask those questions in a maybe a judgmental way or whatever, when it's like, you know, ask you, what were you thinking? Well, you know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like asking those questions can be a little rubbing the person's nose in it. And I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But I know that's kind of a different point. But just say you apologize, I accept your apology, and shake hands, and we're done.
Mm-hmm. And you had to explain that to me because I wanted a little more ceremony. Mm-hmm. I wanted to have a deeper dive. I wanted them to go through and talk.
Point by point, bullet by bullet.
Yes. And maybe that's that's just who I am and how I like it. I do like details.
Do you think it's I'm springing something on you. Do you think it's like a security issue or a maybe comfort? Maybe I don't know if that's the right word. What is it? Yeah, maybe I could just ask it that way. What do you think is the root of that?
Okay.
Needing to have another deep dive, or maybe not another deep dive, but having a deep dive with the apology.
Okay, you did spring it on me, but I'll put my thinking cap on real quick and answer it this way. You use the word you needed some type of acknowledgement. So for me, acknowledgement is an umbrella term. You know, I need you to not just acknowledge that there is a breach. I need you to acknowledge the actions that led up to the breach. I need you to acknowledge, the impact of the breach. I need you to acknowledge what amends will be taken, what guardrails will be put in place. Well, and so you says another buzzword about what I think security or something like this, a security thing or whatnot. I think there is some probably some old baggage or of some kind where I'm from an environment where people behaved very poorly and they never apologized or they never acknowledged in any way that there was a breach and wanted to continue to just act as if nothing ever happened. And so for me, I'm like, hold up. At that point, I get to be Tom and I get to step on little Jerry Mouse's tail and hold him down for a little bit and say, where you think you going? We gonna talk about this. So perhaps that's more of it. And I'm glad you brought that up because when I watched the movie, like I mentioned earlier, I was taking lots and lots of notes.
About do that. You're supposed to be there relaxing.
I know. But y'all, if you have been outside of your front door, if you have been in these streets, if you have been on social media, if you have been watching anything on TV, anything that has been going on in the world outside of what's happening in your own home, you have seen people fighting, tussling, arguing, carrying on and cutting up everywhere. In the past 30 days, I've watched so many things unfold. From y'all, we saw the first lady at the church threatening to whoop some prophet's ass. She was like, I'm a whoop yo when I see you. Called the lady out, I think put her address. I said,
oh, I didn't know it went that far, but okay.
Oh yeah, she was. I'm like, these people are wild. The church is the wild, wild west. Let me just be clear, but I ain't gonna talk about y'all people. Y'all see them. I ain't gonna. You said stop. I ain't gonna say nothing about them. Y'all see
this is across the board.
It is a problem. They cussing people out, in their sermons and carrying on. But enough of not just the church. I've been watching Escape and SWV. The sisters are fighting. The group got a whole bunch of infighting happening. I mean, you're gonna see it if you see the Karens and the Kens. You see in the politics. People are out here fighting and tussling and fighting.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. And when I was taking notes, I felt like the movie was dropping some really insightful nuggets about how to fight and how to fight to win. I loved it. So we've been discussing this for over a month. We have put together some show notes. And we are going to use the Creed 3 movie and the notes from the movie to kick off a series over the next, few episodes about how to fight to win. Okay?
All right.
Because since y'all like to tussle.
Y'all like to tussle. I don't like to tussle.
We have had quite a few tussles in our 20 years of marriage.
Yeah, we have. But do I like? I don't like it.
Okay. But sometimes you win a few, and sometimes you lose a few, and sometimes you live to learn the lesson and fight another day. But the thing is, I wanted to just kind of quickly go through some of my high-level notes, and we'll probably dive in just a little bit more, like I said, in the next few episodes. But you want to see my notes? You want to go through them? I do want to
see. Let's go through your notes because you wasn't paying attention to the movie. You was writing notes, but it was for our benefit. So I'm happy.
It did. It worked out for all of us in the long run. Okay, let me get my notes.
See, that was a mature statement.
Yeah, let me refresh my drink and let me go get my notes, and then we'll keep it going. Hey there, are you enjoying the conversation as much as we are? Then let us know. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're here every other Thursday with a brand new episode, and you do not want to miss it. Okay, all right, back to the conversation. So I'm glad I got a chance to refresh my drink and just go over some of just maybe two, maybe three notes that I pulled from the movie. I have lots. We can't get into it now. We're going to spread this out over a few episodes. But one of the things that I wanted to do today was just kind of help frame that next series. Adonis was addressing his protege, Felix Chavez. And he was telling him he had to address him because Felix was in the ring beating up all of his sparring partners.
Yeah.
You know, and he was kind of showing how skillful and tough he was as a boxer. And it was frustrating the whole training process. So Creed had to pull him aside and have a conversation with him. And one of the things he said was, it's not about power. We know you got power. It's about timing, control, and focus. And I thought that was so key because he was telling him, you can get out here and fight anybody. But if you're going to fight skillfully in order to win, here is some wisdom and knowledge that you can attach to your fights so that you aren't just out here kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to get in the ring with you. You know, that's not the goal, right? And I love that he mentioned that not once, but he mentioned it again in a slightly different way when he was talking to his daughter. So we learn in the movie that his daughter is scrappy, just like him.
Yeah.
And she also has a secret love affair with boxing. And it's adorable to watch. And he sees his daughter and I guess watching tape or fighting, whatever. He's sparring with her, I believe. In any case, he says a similar thing to his daughter and about fighting or boxing. And he said, most people think it's about violence, but it's about timing, focus, and control. And I like that when he was talking to Chavez, he said, it's not about power. It's not proving you got power because we know you got power, you know? And when he's talking to his daughter who's scrappy, it's like, it's not about violence.
Yeah.
Those are two different things, right? Power, everybody shows up to a fight with some form of power. You got the power to engage. You got the power to disengage. Everybody got power. But what is the technique? What is your approach? What is your end game? Things of that nature. We'll get into it. With his daughter, who is similar to how he was. He would fight at the drop of a hat. Just violent, angry, you know, seemingly unprovoked. But he's telling her fighting is not just, you shouldn't just be out here running towards fights or you know. And he shared the same wisdom with her. Love that. The other thing further along in the movie, when Dame is in the match, in the ring, and he's fighting for the championship, when I tell you, he whooped the dog snot
Out of Chavez?
out of Chavez.
Yeah, he was a little dirty too with it, throwing elbows and stuff like that.
It was so brutal. I think I was like, I had to look away. I could not take it. It was awful yet amazing to watch. And he won the belt. Again, spoiler. He won the belt. And the thing is, nobody was celebrating his win as hard as he was, you know? And so I wrote down, if you fight dirty, brutally, and leave your opponent bloody, bruised, and half dead, you might win the fight, but you've actually lost.
Yeah.
And although he won the belt, or in real terms in our marriage, if I say something or you say something or we do something that cuts to the beyond the white meat, if we harm each other with our words and our actions and you leave the other person in shock and awe, you know, because that kind of stuff is easy to just rip the skin off somebody. You know, it can be a sport for some people. But if you need to do all that to win an argument, if you're hitting below the belt, if you're Yeah.
I'm talking about married couple. That's just winning the moment.
When
You
you
got
might win the
you
moment.
got a whole life to, well, hopefully live out, and you just won that moment, you know what I mean? And you actually lost, just like what you said in your notes.
You've actually lost. You've lost
Because the amount
trust.
of repair
Oh
you
my
got to
gosh.
do, yeah.
Talk about it
That's
if you want to.
really, that's all I think it said. That spoke for itself. No,
Stop.
no, I'm just saying. But no, the amount of repair and the rebuilding of trust, the amends you got to go. This could take years. If depending on the fight and how dirty it got, that could take years to even get back to close to where you were before, and you may not ever get to where you were before. You know what I mean? So, that's what it's when you're talking about timing and focus and all that stuff. That's
Technique,
where,
yes.
technique. That's where all that comes into play. So,
For sure. I'm gonna take y'all back. I'm gonna use two references. If you remember watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta when Nene Leakes and Greg
I
Leakes
don't.
were going through their separation and or divorce. And there's a scene where they're at their kitchen island and Nene is confronting Greg about how mean and nasty he was in a radio interview talking about her. She was so hurt. She was in the scene taking her eyelashes off because she done cried them off.
Really?
Yes, it is to this day. I don't care what anybody says. Nene is not just good television. Nene was pivotal, but I ain't gonna get off into that. Watching her address her husband and his words and his actions towards her, I think she says something to the effect like, "I would not have expected that from you, my husband." They eventually got a divorce. They got back together, but I remember after the divorce, and he was trying to woo her back. And she said something to the effect like, "Now I know you." And if you've ever heard this phrase, this is an old school phrase. I used to didn't know you.
Oh.
You don't remember that? I used to didn't know you. You've heard it before. You probably can't catch the reference. But basically, it's when you think you know someone. Stay on task, Robin.
Stay. The center stage. Yeah.
You think you know someone. And then they, quote unquote, show you who they really are.
Oh.
Right? And so when Greg did that to Nene, she's like, I used to think of you differently, but now I know you. I know what you're capable of. And we're going to go into this next marriage quite differently. Because she had needed to guard herself against the version of him that he displayed during the breakdown of their marriage. And so when you talk about the amount of repair that has to be done as a result of certain acts, words and actions during an argument, it really isn't worth it. Because I'm going to tell you what, the brain is wired for our survival. It's going to do whatever it needs to do to make sure that we stay safe and alive. And so if we're still trying to move forward in relationship with somebody that hurts us, the brain is going to remind us.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to move past that. You can pretend you can forgive and forget if you want to, but the body keeps the score, the brain keeps the score. You will not usually it takes time for you to allow that person to get back into your secret sacred place. You may not tell them everything. You may not be as vulnerable and transparent with them because you're going to always remember.
Yeah.
And so that phrase is, I used to didn't know you, but now I do. Okay, right? So what's the other part, friend? I think one other thing I got from there was about shadow boxing. So we talked a little about how Adonis was running from his past. And his past, when it came time for him to fight, I got to do just a quick aside. You were talking about his and Bianca's marriage and their relationship. When he was sharing something with her about Dame in the past and the whatnot, and he was telling her that he was going to have to get in the ring and fight him. And her response was something like, what was her response? Like,
do what you got to do.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah, she had his back, which I love that.
Yeah, she said, he was like, I'm going to have to get in the ring and fight this dude. And she said, do what you got to do.
What you got to do. Or you know what you got to do or something
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, that was so good to see. Yeah. So the thing is, he was I think he might have been having a hard time when they were fighting. He really couldn't. I think he was having a hard time separating the fact that this is my friend, this is my opponent. He had a lot of stuff swirling.
We got to watch it again and get those details, I think.
Yeah, because Dame was mopping him. Because when he went to the corner, his uncle is the one that had to tell him, you need to let go of what was and focus on what is in the present. Yeah. And after his uncle gave him that, what would you call that, a nudge, a pat on the back, or the kick in the butt? Because I thought it was more of a kick in the butt.
No, it's kick in the butt, yeah.
Because his head was not in the game. And I think there was a scene, cinematically, the scene changed.
Yeah, it was just them two in the ring.
Oops, ow! You scratched me.
I apologize. It was an accident, people.
All right, fine. Cut your nails.
I only had nails.
Okay, fine. Back to center.
You didn't have to react like that. No, just
okay. I might be on the tad dramatic side, but no, you did scratch.
I know I did. I said it as soon as I did it.
Okay, fine.
I apologize.
See how easy it is to tussle? I ain't tussling with you. I ain't gonna tussle. But
focus, technique.
And timing. Okay, fine. You using my lesson immediately,
yes,
huh?
Yes.
Okay, but in the movie, the scene, the director's choices at that moment was the ring, the stadium or arena, whatever it's called. It went like black. You didn't see anybody in the stands. It was just Creed and just Dame in the ring. And I made notes about it. We'll talk about it later. Stick around, stay tuned. But he needed that kick in the butt from his uncle to give him permission.
Yeah.
In that moment. Because sometimes you got to contend with your past. And then at other times you have to go ahead and release it and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I got to be right here dealing with what's right here in front of me right now. And when he was able to do that, you know, the movie progresses, he wins and so forth and so on. But like I said, this movie for me, thematically, 10 out of 10. I'm so looking forward to diving into the new series, How to...
What is it? Fight to Win?
Yeah. How to Fight to Win. And we're going to share some of our challenges around conflict and communication. And also we're going to share our triumphs because that's equally important.
That's almost more important. It's just balance.
I said equally and you said more. And then you said balance. Pick a side.
I know. Sometimes I feel like it's just more... It's more important to show the success story. You can't really focus... Don't want to focus too much on the fight or the negative part of it. You share that for the foundational part. But if you got any kind of sense about you, you want to get to the other side. So you want to share the triumphs and how we got to the triumph. So yeah.
Yes.
That's my 2 cents.
Yes.
2 cents.
All right. Well, we are so glad to be back. And also, if you are enjoying this, please be sure to comment and let us know and go out and listen to that Layla Hathaway song that I mentioned and call a friend if you need to just say, hey, thank you, whatever, do that. And stick around with us. We'll be back. And we may continue to drop the bonus episodes if you are watching them. And if you are enjoying them, let us know because, we'll keep that going as well. So until next time.
All right. See you later.
Thanks for watching and listening.